don't know what images the word Christian conjures up for you. Perhaps it's about being a good person, doing the right thing. Maybe it's about hate campaigning, placard carrying, Trump supporting. I've got some friends who live in a Muslim country and they avoid using the term to identify themselves as Christian because for many in the Muslim world, Christianity is synonymous with Hollywood, with dubious morality and promiscuity and loose living. You see, the title Christian is only used a couple of times in the Bible, and it was first applied to followers of Jesus in a place called Antioch. And I'm not sure whether it was a good title or whether it was a bit derogatory, but it was a way of identifying a group of people who were making an enormous difference, who were standing out in the crowd, and they wanted to separate them from the other Jewish sects from which Christianity was born. But I think we need to be aware that just because someone calls themselves a Christian doesn't actually mean that they are a follower of Jesus Christ. Because there's so many different ways in which that word, that phrase, that name, that title can be interpreted. In fact, towards the end of Jesus' famous sermon, the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus says, look, people might say, Lord, Lord, I did all these things in your name. I performed miracles. I did spiritual things. And Jesus says to them, I never knew you. Just because people identify themselves as a follower of Jesus Christ doesn't make it so. How do we explain people who seem to do all the right things and yet Jesus says to them, I never knew you? Well, perhaps the clue is given to us from some famous words that Paul wrote to the church, the followers of Jesus, in a place called Corinth. And it's found in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. So Paul is saying, look, you can be doing all the right things. You could be doing amazing spiritual things. And yet, if it hasn't got love at its foundation, at the heart of it, as its guiding principle, as its driving force, then actually it's going to grate, it's going to hurt people's ears, it's going to be a clanging cymbal, and nobody likes a clanging cymbal. See, if you're asking the question, am I a follower of Jesus Christ, am I a Christian, then you need to really question your motives for what you do, because it is not enough to do all the actions that you would equate with being a Christian. Why do you do what you do? Maybe for you it's about bringing meaning to your life. Maybe it's about finding purpose. It's about having a reason for living. Maybe it's about fulfillment. Maybe it's more about what you get out of it. It is about serving others. Perhaps for you, your faith, your attendance of church, your actions is more of a hobby than about a life change, a heart change. So what are your actions driven by? Personal gain, self-fulfillment, accolades? Because a true follower of Jesus Christ is guided by the Holy Spirit, driven by love and a desire to serve the needs of others. In fact, Jesus said these words to his disciples: by this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. So if you're asking that question, am I a Christian? Well, I'll ask you the question, what is driving your actions?